Well, hey, isn't this a great time to play the Boudin Bowl with the Super Bowl this week?
Well,
next weekend.
There you go.
Perfect.
Our game this week, we've selected 4 categories, and Verla, BJ, and I have each drafted games that we think fit those categories, and we're going to make the pitch to Connie as the judge. Who has the best selection in each of these different categories? Connie will award a gold, silver, and a bronze. 4 points, 2 points, bubkiss points. And if the chat crew wants to chime in as they're listening and they have a clear winner, that they really say, oh, you know, BJ's is terrible, like they normally do, and they say Verla's is the winner. Connie can award an extra point if she sees enough of those, you know, names popping up in there to say, yeah, give the extra one to that person. We have 4 categories. We'll tell you what they are, one at a time, and then each of us will make our pitch to you. You'll tell us what the points are, and we'll sum them up at the end.
All right,
that's the game. And the only additional rule is that the only tiebreaker that we have is that, well, BJ loses.
That's true if it's a tie. I do want to hear what the chat crew is going to vote, though.
Okay.
Yeah, that's going to be
You want to go through them in the order that we got them?
Yes. And you told her about the scoring, how the scoring is going to work out?
Yeah, you're going to be listening and saying who's made the most persuasive case to be first, second, and third, and then I'll punch the points in and keep count that way.
I think we should let the Overlord go first. What do you think?
Okay.
Oh, hey, look who's checking in. Hey, Mick. Oh, I got to see Mick briefly.
Mick,
I got to see Mick briefly at BGG-Con. It was like a hi bye. Literally, I was in the middle of a game. Just walked by. It's like, watch out for that guy. We did not get to play a game, Mick. We'll have to do that next time. So, yeah. Evan says, bring in the Overlord. We're ready for it.
Okay. So
all right, what are we starting with?
First category, we'll start with the earlier release. We'll go back to Apiary. The first category is space game. And so we're going to all make our pitches as to why ours is the space game Connie should pick.
Yeah, Verla, Connie, some of these categories they're going to be very familiar to you.
Okay,
so.
understood.
They're kind of Connie themed.
Right.
Yeah.
So mine has been mentioned tonight. Planet Partially Known, but that's kind of because BJ must not be playing it very well or very right. Mick, I missed you too. No, I'm not super into space themed games. Terraforming Mars, like I've played it twice. I don't care to ever do that again. And when Planet Unknown was on Kickstarter, I heard about it a little bit and I was like, space, whatever. And then a friend ended up with a copy and, you know, I tried it because it was game night and I'm usually trying stuff. And I found out more about it and it's polyominoes, which I love. And it was just so ideal for like a wide category of gamers. Like beginners can get into it fairly easily. And, you know, more experienced gamers, you can play 6 people and it doesn't seem to drag on. It just because of the simultaneous play. And it's just so fun. Like it made me want to terraform planets. I love that you're moving up these tracks and getting all these bonuses and kind of combos to do different things. And like I can't come up with another space game except I haven't played Apiary yet. That one doesn't count. Your games are off the table for this.
That's fair.
This whole game.
Yes.
Yeah, because all 3 of us.
That is next on my list. No, that is high on my list to try. But of other known entities, space games, like I don't care. But Planet Unknown, I feel like is just so approachable to such a wide range of people, and it's just so fun. It sparks joy.
It is. It does. It definitely does. It's a strong entry.
Uh-oh.
Steve, you got to follow that up.
No, I don't know if I'm going to follow it up terribly well after that one. I am kind of like Verla too. I'm not huge into space games. For me, when I'm talking about a theme, it could just be evocative of the theme, and that's fine if the art brings me into a mind space for that, but I don't have to feel like I'm actually an astronaut. For me, I went kind of heavier Euro, and I'm going to pick a game that I know Jay, speak of the devil, I think I know what Steve should pick. It's a game I got for Jay called Quantum. Quantum is a game that is dice, and there's some dice rolling, but really what's beautiful about it, the thing I love so much is that the dice have opposing powers. The bigger the number, the farther it can travel. But the smaller the number, the more powerful it is in the fight. So essentially, this is kind of an exploration game. You're kind of getting into, you're jostling for places on the board to kind of colonize or get energy from planets. And so it's kind of a race. But the puzzliness and the powers that go with it, it might be a hard one to find, but you can find it on BGA and you can absolutely play it. It's a beautiful, thinky mean little game.
Interesting. I have not played it, but that sounds really fun. It sounds really interesting.
Don't play it with my son because you might be competitive once, and then for me at least, I play him once and I can play him level, and after that he smokes me.
Hey, we want to see some ideas from the chat crew. Don't forget, maybe they can even steal a better answer than the 3 that we have.
Ooh, BJ throwing a curveball. The chat
you never know. I'm okay if she picks one of them. So mine is very simple. You know, when you think about space, you think about bees, right? Oh, no, wait.
Naturally.
Sorry. No, that one was not. That would have been my choice. The one that I picked is what I like to say is the Beyond the Sun of board games. And it is because it's Beyond the Sun. Beyond the Sun has been one of my favorite space games that I've played since I've gotten into this. Look, Jay picked it already.
Yeah,
it's Beyond the Sun. I don't know, Connie, have you played Beyond the Sun yet?
I have. I really like Beyond the Sun.
It's a first-time design by Dennis Chan, if I remember right. Dennis came on the show. Steve, one of our most favorite guests of all time. Super thoughtful guy. Loved the game, but the first time I played it, I was like, wow, this has everything I like. It has those combos that we talked about where you're doing actions to set up this cool combo 2 or 3 turns later. And you're not going to see that the first time you play, but the second and third time you play, you're going to see right away that, oh, wow, I've got to set up better turns later by making these little tiny micro turns in the part. So it's got 2 things that I love: space theme and micro turns that combo into bigger turns. It's a huge game. It's a table hog, but it's so much fun. And I've been able to teach it to just about anybody. So that's my choice. Beyond the Sun. What I like to say whenever I call into a couple of game shows, the Beyond the Sun of board game. It is Beyond the Sun. All right, so we've got a couple other choices out there. We got Dune, Imperium, and Firefly. Yeah, interesting. Yeah. What do you think, Connie? What's your thoughts?
Yeah. All right. So Gold has got to be Beyond the Sun here. I really like Beyond the Sun. It's such a good game. And I think it really captures that space feel too, because you have that kind of planet grid off to the side and you're exploring those planets. Also just want to shout out, it has like the coolest income generation mechanism I've ever seen, like A+ on that. Silver is going to be Planet Unknown. I also love Planet Unknown, and I'm so sorry I have not played Quantum, so I do have to.
I should have tried to steal you. You should pick the gold for the one that you haven't played yet. you're dying to. Understandable. Do play it though; it's definitely worth it. And Jay,
I definitely want to. It looks really interesting.
Jay knew exactly where I was going with that one.
Okay. Wayne's from the Beans and Dice podcast, and he hears me all the time saying, "Beyond the Sun is Beyond the Sun." Connie is now the Beyond the Sun of guests. That's what I'm thinking so far.
Counselor, stop testifying. You're not here for that.
I'm gilding the lily, Your Honor.
You're sucking up to the guest is what you're doing.
All right, let's move to that second category. Steve, what you got?
So second category.
There was one other choice, Nemesis. Have you played Nemesis yet?
No, I have not played Nemesis yet. It's definitely on the list, though.
Jeremy loves that game, though.
Yeah.
All right, so
I don't think we heard anything so much from the chat crew being on any of our sides or stealing points from us. So I think we're going on to the next one, which might also sound kind of familiar. This is going to be your choice in fantasy/dragon game.
All right.
How do you want to do this? You want to continue the same rotation or mix it up?
Switch it up.
Switch it up.
All right, you're up, Steve.
I'm up. I feel like I'm saying the same thing after space games. I don't have I read a ton of fantasy, but I don't have a ton of fantasy games. And again, the fantasy games that I do have are not super thematic. It evokes the theme rather than I feel like I'm being a knight of some sort. And I think most folks are going to know where I'm going with this too. My favorite fantasy series is Terry Pratchett's Discworld. Oh, yeah. Love Discworld. And so I'll be picking Discworld Ankh-Morpork. A hard to find game, but I'll happily play it with anybody and bring it to wherever you want me to go.
And you own a copy, right, Steve?
Say again?
You own a copy, right?
I own a copy. Kelly's got a copy up there in the Pacific Northwest. So I'm an evangelist for this one, but good luck trying to find it. You can find Nanty Narking, which is a redo that's kind of Victoriana rather than fantasy. But the thing that I love about this is if you know and love the characters, the flavor text and images of these characters that are in your mind as you're placing them around the city, and also having to worry about the dragon coming and destroying parts of the city, or maybe even using Commander Vime's little pet dragon, Errol, in the game There's definitely dragons racing throughout this game. And if you love that fantasy background, this is the one to play.
I've never read the series. Would I still, because Nancy Narcan I loved, but would I still like?
Yes, you would. It is a game where the characters, you don't necessarily have to know them. They are definitely described vividly in their artwork and in their flavor text. But it's even better when you know who's talking to whom in the game.
Well, the chat crew is throwing out some names here. We got some tough ones to beat. Clank.
I'm shocked that Dean is saying Blood Rage. Call me just utterly shocked.
Blood Rage does not count.
Blood Rage is everything for Dean. If it's not The Godfather, maybe.
Is it my turn? That's a tough choice. Is it my turn?
I think we go to you next. We'll rotate it through.
Okay. Johnny Pack is one of my favorite people, right? But we all know that. Merchant's Cove, I went with, and I was thinking, okay, I could go with just about any fantasy theme. I could go with maybe a game built on the bones of Wingspan, maybe, because that would have been probably a good choice here. But I wanted to kind of go a little bit left field. And Merchant's Cove has this really cool theme where, you know, we see games try this all the time. You're making the stuff that adventurers are going to buy from you after they go out and adventure, right? Because if you've ever played D&D, like I'm sure many of us have, one of the fun things is sitting around the tavern and, you know, getting the adventure started. And then after the adventure is over, you come back laden with all this gold and stuff. And then we always have fun. We go in and we shop. There's a bunch of games that do that too, where we do some shopping between each game. Well, Merchant's Cove that's the other side of it. We are the different merchants that are crafting all the items that we're going to sell to the adventurers coming back when they've come back from the caves, right? And what I really like about it is it's got, and a couple other games have done this, but to me, Merchant's Cove does it the best. It's got that root style where every person's faction is completely asymmetric. In fact, I can't even teach the game, the elements of the game of what each person is doing. You just got to give them that little sheet, that little 2 or 3 page sheet and say, look, I'm going to show you the overlay of how the game works. You're going to have to figure out your faction. I'll answer as many questions as I can, but I'm learning this faction too. So I like that. I like that puzzle of playing each faction. And I've played almost all of them at least twice now. Boy, I'm looking forward to some of the new ones that are coming in, by the way. One of them is Game Designer, by the way, Steve. Johnny Pack designed one where you're actually kind of like building out board games that you're going to sell to the adventurers when they come back. So
very cool.
Asymmetric powers, Merchant Cove. Fantastic game. It was one of our games of the year, and I'll pick it every time. I kind of shoehorned it into this one, but I don't think so. I think it fits that fantasy thing.
It fits.
Connie, have you played?
Verla, what you got?
Oh, go ahead, bro.
Are you gonna finish, Connie? Have you played the one he said?
So Merchant's Cove. It's on our shelf of opportunity right now. It was a little bit hard to find for a while, so we actually finally picked it up at a used game sale a couple of months ago, and we have not gotten it to the table yet. But I am very excited to play it. I'm very familiar, sort of with the concept, and I love Johnny Pack as a designer. So it's high on the list of games to try, but I haven't played it yet.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to step on that. I thought you were calling for Connie to vote, and Verla hadn't given her a game yet.
No, I was just asking if she had played Merchant's Cove. Yeah, no problem.
No worries. I don't have a long spiel because really there's only one answer, and it's right behind me, right there. Because who wouldn't want to live in a world where an adorable dragon torches your creme brulee with their breath? Not me. I mean,
I gotta admit, it's got great puns too. It's got great puns in all places.
Yeah, it's so charming. It's so adorable. It's like the best thing with dragons until Wyrmspan came along.
Oh, Jay says that's a pretty.
This is a tough.
It's flaming hot. One. You know, flaming your creme brulee, baking your bread, all those cute little towns. Oh my goodness.
Are there dragons in Merchant's Cove, BJ?
Yes.
Just asking for a friend.
Yep, the dragon keeper. You have to manage your dragon poop. That's the whole thing with the dragon keeper.
Isn't that Dungeon Pets?
I was just gonna say, isn't that Dungeon Pets?
Yeah.
All right. So I think I'm gonna have to go gold for Flamecraft. It's too on point. I'm gonna give silver to Discworld.
Ooh.
I'm a huge sci-fi fan, so I've got to shout out some Terry Pratchett love, and that puts Merchant Cove at a. Can we put it at a point? Can we give it? I don't want to go all the way to.
That's not the game.
We could say that there was some Merchant's Cove love in the chat, and that could be the bonus
there absolutely was
for BJ. So yeah, let's do that. You want to do that 4, 2, and 1 instead?
Wow, yeah, Steve's in a friendly mood tonight. I like it.
Wow.
I'm in a friendly mood. Yeah, we can go with that. So Merchant's Cove with a 1.
Must have been a good walk with Toby.
Yeah. Well, he didn't yell too much at the people down the street about getting off his lawn like old man dog is. All right.
These are some weird football scores because usually it's 7, 3, and 0, but we're going 4, 2, and 1. I like it.
Yeah, I made it gold, silver, and bronze rather than touchdown, field goal, and bupkis.
That's right.
I want to give a quick shout out to something Mick said before. A surprise, Tribes of the Wind. I have that one and have not played it, but it looks like a Studio Ghibli version of like a board game of Nausicaa Valley of the Wind. I do want to play that too, Mick. Good observation.
Okay, does this count? Wait, hold on. I got the wrong one. Jay said Pictomania because it has a dragon mascot on the front. Connie, you'd have to be the judge of that one. I don't think that would count.
I'm going to say it's a little bit of a stretch, like A+ for effort, but maybe not quite a point.
Fair point.
Avalon, the Resistance. Avalon. Great choice. And by the way, stick around in 2 weeks, David, because he's going to be on the show. He's got a new book to pump, and we're going to be talking to him about it. So
Don Eskridge, right?
Yeah, Don Eskridge will be there. So that'll be fun.
I was going to say, Avalon is one of my favorite games of all time. So as David well knows.
David's being a fabulous co-pilot and co-host, feeding DJ with that little nugget. Yeah. Nicely done. All right, so halfway through, we're to the next category. Next category is going to be...
Is this true? You wrote the Resistance Avalon guide? Yeah. On GBGG? Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was me.
Okay, we need to get Connie and Sean Ramirez from the Dukes of Dice in the same room playing Resistance Avalon. Sean claims he's never been beat at this game, and he's played it. I mean, I don't never been beat. That's a little hyperbolic.
No, that sounds like Sean.
He's played it 40 or 50 times. Like this is one of his favorite games of all time. So
yeah, we used to, when I was back in the day when I was young, we used to play every Friday night. Basically from 10 or so at night until when the Metro opened up in the morning again. And then we'd all kind of head home from playing Avalon.
Wow.
So it has a very, very special place in my heart.
Wow. Okay. Committed.
All right. What's our next category?
Fourth category is going to be, this is very generally wide open, best game for new gamers.
Number 3.
This could be like an entry-level game that could be easy for them to get a copy of and shop for, or something that's really accessible to people to get them started thinking about gaming as a hobby, or something different than they remember from their childhood years, perhaps.
I was going to say, I have an answer. So if anyone picks that answer, it's definitely getting the gold.
Oh, good. Okay.
Oh, feels like this needs to be written down like Newlywed Game style, so there could be a reveal at the end.
I'm doing the mind meld. I'm doing the mind meld right here.
Okay. So I think I'm
first, right?
DJ's kicking off.
Yeah. So my game might be a little heavier than you think, but that's because it's on the bones of a very successful Stonemaier game by Elizabeth Hargrave about birds. Oh, wait, no, sorry. That's the wrong one. I was in the wrong category. No, this game is a game that I've literally taught to every kind of gamer you could ever think about. I first heard about it from Tom Vessel over in the Dice Tower. He lauded it. I got a copy, and I've brought it everywhere. I brought it on campouts. I brought it on vacations. I brought it on family gatherings, and it's called No Thanks. Tiny little card game with little red chips. I'm missing one of the chips, so I use a penny. It doesn't even matter. You can play the game. You can play the game just the way it is. Everybody already knows how to play this game, but basically you're trying to score as little points as possible. It's like a golf style game where you're bidding on cards that you don't want. But No Thanks is so simple. It's the game that I actually use when someone says, "Oh, I heard your family plays board games. We like to try one, but we don't want to play anything too heavy." I bring out No Thanks, and they're going, "Wait, this is all. It's that simple to play some of these games." I'm like, "Yeah, some of these games are that simple and that deep and that much fun." So No Thanks. Oh, look, we got a couple of people saying that too. No Thanks. That's mine.
Okay.
Have you played No Thanks, Connie?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have. I think it's an excellent game. Not the one I was thinking of, but an excellent one.
Okay. Ooh, Jay chiming in with Love Letter.
That's because he beats us all the time in Love Letter. That's why he's picking Love Letter.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
He whooped us.
I was happy to have gotten a point in that game, honestly.
That was tough. All right, so back to the Gumbo Erlorn.
Back to me. Okay, I'm going with another one that is over my shoulder, and I can't figure out which way. Ooh, no, that way. Cascadia, which has also been mentioned in the comments. It's
Kelly's
got a family mode. She does. It's got a family mode that you can use as a beginner mode from like my 5-year-old nephew on up to my 85-year-old great aunt, who I was nervous about. She kept saying, I want to play board games. I don't want to play bunco with all the old ladies at my things. That's all they want to play. And I was like, well, she's 85. I'm not really sure like what she can handle. And we tried Cascadia. Again, tile placement, which I love. Beautiful Beth Sobel artwork, which I love. The theme is, pretty appealing, I think, across the spectrum to a wide variety of people. And there's so many different ways to change it up and add to the complexity, from that family level to the regular one and all the different cards. And it's just, that's my pick if I'm trying to teach new people games. And that's been the big winner as well. So nobody's ever told me, I hate that. I don't ever want to play it again. They're always like, when can we play Cascadia again?
My brother got the game. He bought it for his wife for Christmas. He's not a big gamer, but he likes games. They're just getting into it. They played it like 5 times already this month. I mean, Cascadia is just, and I didn't even have to teach it to them. They learn it from the rules. So,
yeah,
such a great one.
It's fantastic.
Connie, you a fan of Cascadia?
I am in fact a fan of Cascadia.
Oh, that might be a hint there. That's a hint there.
We'll have to wait and see.
Okay.
You also got Dean's vote too. So
I might be in poker what they're calling drawing dead. That's the case at this point. I'm going to pull an inside straight. I'm going in a very different direction. This is one that is not going to be something that people would necessarily run out and buy after they play it, but I will bring it over every single time they want to play. I have never seen someone play this game and not think, "Oh, let's rack them up. Let's do that again." It's the Canadian game of bumper cars with golf with shuffleboard. It's Crokinole. Crokinole is such an easy access game. Not an easy one to go out and buy your own copy of, but again, this is what's going to hook a gamer. And if this is something that will get people who have not ever thought of themselves as board gamers to sit down and flick discs and then get into it with their partners who might not be gamers or who might be, wanted to just play something simple that's beer and Skittles, and there you go, you're off to the races. Crokinole has just never failed as an intro for a new game for someone who's not looking for something terribly rules heavy, but just a bucket of fun.
So here's the question that I have, and this is maybe me being pedantic here, is do we count Crokinole as a board game?
No. You have to have a Crokinole board.
You do, but it's. I mean, I like the pick.
It is your call.
I really. So Cascadia was the one that instantly came to mind for me.
It was.
So I do have to award that gold.
Yes.
Okay.
I've had the same experience. It hits every time you teach it. You can teach it to non-gamers. Gamers like playing it. It just never misses. And so it's hard for me not. I mean, that's going to be the gold pick. I'm honestly struggling between the other two because I really think both of them are excellent picks. As an aside, personal pet peeve here. I heard somebody in BGG say that Raising Robots was a good gateway game, and I don't know if you guys have played that game. It blew my mind. I was like, "That's not a gateway game. Like, what are you talking about? There's 8 million symbols."
Yeah.
And so I really appreciate that all 3 of these picks really are. Oh yeah, Quadropolis is very good too. But I really appreciate that all of these picks are very much in the spirit of this. I think I am gonna go Crokinole 2 for silver and No Thanks for bronze. But I do think all 3 of them are excellent picks.
Did we see anything else in there? Is the crew taking a point for anything?
There's a lot of splits. I've seen it several Crokinoles, so I think that might be the one. I've seen a couple of Cascadias.
Certainly said Cascadia, and so did Dean right up earlier too.
Thank God Philip Millman isn't here, because he would have said PAX Premier and said, "What? PAX Premier?
Hey, Mick says Cascadia.
Oh, there's a lot of votes for Cascadia and a lot of votes for Crokinole.
Yeah. Do we think there's another point in there, or does it stand as it is?
I'm okay with Connie.
I don't think Crokinole's a board game.
Yeah,
just gonna say it.
Wait, what?
I mean, I do think that's a very legitimate complaint. But
It is a board and it is a game,
but not a board game. I can understand it. It's definitely something that is an entryway game for gamers. I could certainly see that. And I know that for, again, the families that we've played it with, it's been surprising how many of them went out and bought their own boards afterwards. It shocks me that actually does inspire them.
Jeremy says it's a game the same way pool
Thank you,
is
Jeremy.
Oh, Jeremy, that's it. You're never invited to the Gumbo Pot anymore.
Oh, Jeremy, we were just talking so nicely about you earlier.
No, we talked about it. Are we excluding dexterity games?
We're not. We're not excluding dexterity.
There's Jay. Jay always with the logic.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't know if you guys have heard about, there's this new game, dexterity game, but we just ordered a copy. It's called Dripholter. We haven't played it yet, but basically you hold a bunch of random objects in your hand and you try to drop the correct ones. And every time you do, you get a point, and it's a bell, which then you also have to add to your hand. So you have all these jingling bells in your hand, and then if you drop one of those, you lose the points. I cannot wait for that game.
I saw Marty play it. I saw some pictures of Marty Cannell playing it, and it looks fantastic. So I just don't know anything about it. So.
Yeah. But just the idea that you're trying to hold all of these weird objects and drop the correct one, and then as you get points, you're clinking these bells, and then you're trying to drop like whatever. It just sounds great.
All right, we got one more category left for the Boudin Bowl. What do we got,
I don't know that the last category is going to make a difference. We might be competing for silver and bronze, BJ. Well, let's go ahead and try. The last one is con to attend.
Okay.
So again.
So tell me though, are we recommending a con to attend to people?
We're saying
we're trying to convince Connie to go to this.
Let me see how I phrased it in when I was talking to y'all. I think what it was phrased as, what is the gaming convention you most want to attend? Okay. So we're not necessarily trying to sell this other person on it, but making the case why this con that we like to go to is a great one to attend.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to see what Verla has to say.
I think we're back to V.
Is it back to me first?
I think it is.
I think I was first last time.
No, you were first, and then Steve, and then I was first. Yeah.
Yep. We're back to the top of the top of the order.
Well, Steve has my true pick, and he wouldn't let me switch things around a little bit to be more precise. So
hey, I did not take Flamecraft knowing that you wanted Flamecraft, right?
That's true. This is true. So mine is BGG Con. Probably fall, but spring if I can make it. But I've been to both of them one time each. And it's just such a great atmosphere. It's so well set up. All the volunteers that they have. Have you been at all, Connie?
I have not been to BGG Con.
It's fantastic. I've been to Essen. I have not been to Gen Con, but I've heard about it. And, you know, if you want a con where you are where games, you know, playing games is the focus and not as much just the sales and the booths and everything. I mean, they have some of that, and that's okay. But it's just such a great con to go and get together with your friends like BJ and so many of the people that are in the chat that we know, and make new friends. And they've got an amazing, incredible game library. What is it, like over 6,000 games or something that they haul in? And it's just, it warms my heart and my soul.
So we got some new people in the chat. So we should explain what BGG stands for. That is Board Game Gumbo Con.
Yes. Board Game Gumbo Overlord Con. The O is silent.
So kind of, I used to walk around BGG, and there were people that have like, they get the little stickers, and it says, "I love BGG," and I'm like, "Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you." That's a great choice. BGG Con, fall or spring? You're saying you're claiming both of them.
I'm claiming both, but you know, if I had to decide between the two, it's going to be fall.
Well, our friend Mick and Starla will be there. BGG Con. They're powered by BGG, if I remember right, with the videos. So they'll be there in the fall if anybody wants to go, or in spring.
Very well run.
Spring this year. I can't make spring this year, but I will be there in the fall. So
yeah, good solid lead.
All right, Steve.
Back to me. I'm going to tell you what I stole from Verla. Apparently, this is a con that is like a mini micro con. And Verla is saying the exact same stuff. If you want what at a con is playing games with your friends, we made one that we do nothing but that. We basically have friends from all over the country in honor of our friend Chuck, and we call it ChuckCon. We get together and either rent a house together for 4 days, and the library that we have is what everybody brings. So it's what you want to share, and we get up in the morning, make each other breakfast, go out for a run. This summer we're going to be getting up early and paddleboarding on the lake, and then we cook for each other, we drink with each other, and we play games until God knows what time of the evening, and then sing till we go to sleep. 4 days of just getting together with a group of 8 to 12 or so friends, and we call it ChuckCon.
We had like 200 games there, right? And we played, I think, 85 of them.
Yeah.
think we put a dent in that. We didn't play everything, but we certainly I don't know if we got to a majority, but we were darn close.
I think we played 85 out of 200, if I remember right, Connie. That's a lot of games.
That's a lot of games. Yep.
It is.
Tantrum Con is one I wish I could have gone to. That one.
I'd like to check that out one day.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to go to ChutCon 3 because I've already been to ChutCon. So that was going to be my answer. Was ChutCon 3.
I put in ChutCon and Verla then said her answer was ChutCon 3.
That would have been a totally different answer.
Yeah, you almost finessed it.
Mick's talking about some great ones up in Nebraska for anybody that lives up there.
Yes.
Mine is an easy one. Jamie announced today that he's doing Wyrmspan Con. And so that's have I beat it into the ground yet? Or not?
A little bit.
Okay. No, mine is one. And this is not going to be a winning choice. I picked it just because it's near and dear to my heart. We started up a game convention called Southern Board Game Fest. So I'm going to go into a little ad spiel here. Southern Board Game Fest is a fundraiser for New Hope Foundation, where the foundation provides mentoring services to at-risk youth on the north side of town. It is a fantastic charity, but more than that, it's become like a family convention. We get 300 people all in the same room, all working on this charity. But more than that, everybody is not only a gamer, but so many of them are actually volunteers. They come from all over. We had people from Minnesota. We had people from Tampa. We had the Beans and Dice people. We had people from Texas, people from Arkansas, Oklahoma. They all come down, and they don't want to just come and check. They want to actually volunteer and help. So that's what reminds me. What I like about Southern Board Game Fest is not only do you get the great Louisiana food, you get the great Louisiana company, but you also get just the spirit of gaming, people playing games and giving back not only to the community, but giving it to each other. Mitchell is in charge of the teaching, and we had gamers from all over the country come down and volunteer their time. You could actually, Connie, send your friends here, and there'll be 16 or 20 games that they're going to play with a guided playthrough. Yeah, Jeremy was one of our superstars. He also did one. So just a fantastic time. So we had Cajun music, we had Cajun food, we had Creole desserts, and we had 350 games to play, and we had something like 70 games given away over the weekend. Just a fantastic time.
I don't know why I'm going to chime in and help you with this, but you also have to say it's like time to be right with Taste of Acadiana.
Oh,
so
yeah.
You step out the door and you're down at a food festival.
Yeah. So
why am I talking on your behalf?
Yeah.
Because we're both going to try and go at some point, Steve. That's why.
Yeah.
The reason is that we can't always get the space that we want on that weekend. So I don't want to promise that. Right. In fact, our next one is probably not going to be the same as the Cajun Creole Festival. It's called Festival Apiary and Creole. And what was really nice is when you leave Gen Con, you go out and you eat a nice food truck, or maybe you go to a restaurant. When you leave our festival, because it's not a con, it's a festival. I mean, it is Louisiana. You walk 100 yards and you've got fried alligator, and you've got beignets, and you got just fantastic food and live bands going all weekend. The problem is that we can't promise that every time. So
yeah,
I don't want to sell too many people on that.
See, I'm gonna fight you back, because we don't necessarily have to walk out the door to get that. We just turn to Jake and say, when are you making the pizzas?
That is true.
Exactly.
Ask Eric when he's smoking a brisket, or what are you gonna do?
Little Mike's hot honey on top of that pizza.
Little bee sting.
All right, we gave you some tough choices here, Connie.
Yeah.
And if you want to talk about your local con, what's that con that you like? I'd like to hear about it.
Yeah, well, so it was called Washington for a few years. It seems to have sort of gone away at this point. I'm not sure if it's going to be back, which is too bad. But actually, one of the really cool things is that our local board game store, which is Labyrinth in Washington, D.C., has actually started running board game events at AwesomeCon, which is kind of a big general, science fiction, fantasy, nerd culture con. So I think this will be its second year having board games at AwesomeCon. And I think it's a really great way to get new people into the hobby, because these are people who are like maybe a little board game adjacent. And so kind of like nudging them, just a little.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, so I'm really, really excited about that. That's in March this year. But yeah, so I think my ruling here, I'm going to go ChuckCon with gold, because I think that renting a house, playing games with friends, that whole like retreat, making food together, it's just one of the most special things that you can do. And I think it's one of the reasons that I love board games so much. It's just kind of that togetherness. Sort of along the same. Yep. I think in the same vein, I'm going to go the Sobo Festival with silver, because I think that bringing new people into the hobby is just really critical. And I think, again, kind of this sort of idea of a celebration of games and everything, you know, all of the personal connections that you make playing games is really valuable too. And BGG Con is very much on my list, but it does get the bronze here. But I am excited to go to BGG Con one of these years.
Great choices. Lots of great choices in the chat too, Steve.
Yeah. What did we see in the chat? I was seeing some other new names too. Mick talking about OrcaCon.
Cardboard Caucus up here, though.
Yeah. My mom and I went to OrcaCon.
You did get, I mean, I know you've got a lot of folks down there listening too, but Sobo certainly came up. I mean, that came up a lot in the chat. Is that a bonus point?
Yeah, I think so.
It's got to be.
Yep.
All
Dean
right.
says Chuck Con for the win. Lots of good ones. Tantrum Con. That's definitely on my list. So
same here.
Okay.
And last shout out to Unpub too, because that's the con for the game designers, and that's also in March, and that's a great event every year.
Yeah, it's one of our most popular parts is we do a mini style Unpub. We call it GoPub, Geaux, you know, because we're from Louisiana, we can't spell. but we've had designers from all over that come, mostly from the southern states that are close enough. That have come this year. We were fortunate enough. We had Carla Kopp from Weird Giraffe Games, and all she did was do Unpub style events all weekend. So she had a great time. So
very cool.
I give the feedback I can, but I love watching designers get feedback, and I also love when they come back. We've had a couple come back each year with the same game, and the first time it's like a poster board with drawings and little chits, and then the third time they come back and it's almost a fully fleshed out prototype. That's Metatopia is another one I've heard some good things about too.
Where is that one at?
That's in Jersey,
New Jersey, if I remember right.
Yep. Right up by Canada, right, BJ?
Yeah, right by Canada. So great, just across the border from Canada. You get everything north of Huntsville is near Canada, right, BJ? Did you know, Steve, 98% of all Canadians live within 1 mile of the border? I mean, they are poised to just that's it. We have to be careful.
Yes, that does not sound like a wacko conspiracy theory at all, BJ. Very good. Okay.
Yeah, my family's from Canada, so I like to pick on them. So
all right. So it looks like if we do the Piranha Pig Con, that's the
Friend Con. Yeah.
That's board Blue Peg Pink Peg. Love that.
I think she said it best. Friend Cons, that has to be the best. Even though we love the spectacle of Gen Con.
I got to say, this was something that grew from us being friends online, and it wasn't until we had the Chuck Con, the first, up in the Pacific Northwest by Verla, that we had some of these folks get together for the first time. This past year, we were in Alabama and met people that we've talked to or typed to, and it's like your brothers and sisters from the drop. It's just fantastic. So this year's New York.
Well, I hope it's a great time.
Oh, we will have a great time.
It will be.
All right.
So let's look at the verdict here.
Give it to us.
Verla is at the top of the podium wearing gold with 10 points. And BJ and I are sharing a silver, it looks like. We ended up, that bonus point got you from, Verla had 10. Bonus point got you and me both to 8. So we have a
but if silver. There's a tie, BJ loses it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
said that at the beginning.
I'm gonna do the magnanimous Olympics thing and pull BJ up onto the silver podium.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Verla wins, and BJ and I also played.
Evan, you didn't win. We all won. That's the way it is. We all won.
Quacks is the answer.
And that's one to go on, BJ. That's
Quacks is the answer for everything. So, all right, board gamers, that's it for another episode of Gumbo Live. I want to thank Connie Vogelmann for coming in. This is a lot of fun. We had a great time with you. How can they reach you tomorrow to give you the congratulations when y'all sell out all 100,000 copies on the first day?
I don't think that's going to happen. But yeah, so I'm on both Twitter and Blue Sky, both places. I'm at Connie VDC. So I post every once in a while. So, yeah, come say hi.
Make sure to like our Facebook page, facebook.com/BoardGameGumbo, or the YouTube channel. We're also on Blue Sky. And thank you, Connie. I saw your shout outs on Twitter and Blue Sky. Thank you for doing that. It helps us get the word out about all of our upcoming shows, including Don Eskridge, designer of The Resistance and Avalon. He's an author of a new book on gaming. It's a tiny little book, but we're going to be giving away a copy during the show. So that's going to be kind of fun. And next week, we're going to be giving away another copy of The Wolves. And that's thanks to our friends at Pandasaurus. So come check us out on Twitch as we play The Wolves live. Don't forget Tuesdays, twitch.tv/BoardGameGumbo, where we play your games live on TV. And someday we're going to get to play Wyrmspan, hopefully, Connie. So keep an eye on that, because if you get in the chat, you can give me some strategy on how to win.
Can do.
Well, good night, everybody. Thank you all for coming in. I am BJ from Board Game Gumbo, and for Connie, and for Verla, and for Steve. Laissez, le bon temps rouler.
Bye all.
Bye, friends.
Bye all.